Now, what would the holiday season be without a show and a really good story? Well, now you can find both at Christmas with C.S. Lewis. So joining us live with an inside look on this year's production, we have Gregory Williams Welsh. Welcome back to Show Me St. Louis, Gregory.
Well, thank you for having me again, man. It's very, very much a pleasure to be here.
Well, this is an exciting show. I mean, it's Christmas time with C.S. Lewis. This is a tradition that you do here. So before we get into, why it's so iconic for families year after year, let's just chat about the show. What can people expect?
Well, actually, at the end of his life, C.S. Lewis, his agent would arrange groups of historians and writers, and they would come to Oxford to he and his brother's house that's called the Kilns, and they would sit in the living room and they'd serve them tea or whatever, sometimes not, and he would just talk about his writing, his marriage to the American woman from Brooklyn, Joy, that was such a scandal, and then of course his friendships. He had a very deep friendship with J.R.R. Tolkien, and just generally about his writing and his life in general. And then the conceit of the show is that the audience is then, of course, in my living room in Oxford. And since they're visiting at Christmas, their tour leader has asked me to give a little history of Christmas in Britain and how it, how the history affects how they do it today and how it's different from American Christmases.
Well, it's a beautiful idea because C.S. Lewis, I mean, his writing, I'm a fan of his writing all year round, but specifically in Christmas time, there's just something about it, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, he was a brilliant writer, Christian theologian, though I don't know if he would have called himself that. And Tolkien certainly didn't like to call him that. But yes, I mean, it's just, he's an iconic writer. Very interesting man, and Christmas is, as he says in the show, he had a checkered history with Christmas because he lost his mother at the age of 9 before Christmas. And he was an atheist for a good while, for the first 21 years of his life, until he met Tolkien, who brought him back to Christianity. And so Christmas, as he says in the show, there was a time when Christmas present meant very little to me, but now he got back into it, and it's just the journey of his life, and it's so interesting. I mean, a World War I veteran, almost was killed, almost didn't make it back, as Tolkien was the same way. So just how all of his life and everything came together, and he found Christ again, and now is, and talking about it near the end of his life.
And thankfully so. I mean, praise God, beautiful writings came from that period of his life. So for families, I mean, this really is a tradition year after year. So perhaps just why it's just so important for these families to come together and to hear these stories as a family in the holiday season.
Well, it's just nice because, like I say, Lewis is such an iconic Christian writer, and him talking about the history of Christmas in England, and it's different. It's interesting as to how they celebrate it and how they celebrate it or celebrated it, and how they celebrate it today, and it's very heartwarming, and it's also very heart-wrenching because he lost his wife to cancer, and that sent him in a tailspin, and he actually wrote a book which wasn't even supposed to be a book, that he was just writing his thoughts in a notebook, as he says, to save him from an emotional collapse. But then it all comes back, and that was called A Grief Observed, and it all comes back where he realizes that he can't concentrate on her loss. But she went into remission, so he had the 3 happiest years of his life.
I mean, it just gives you chills, doesn't it? It's so moving, and just to see it on this format, in a stage form, is really going to be beautiful. So you're not going to want to miss it. Gregory is returning home to St. Louis. He's a St. Louisan native. He's in Nashville now, but we are so glad that you come year after year to do this show. It's beautiful. You can use the code LEWIS to save half off on tickets. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll be right back.
Thank you for having me.